All right. I want everybody to get their pen tool out for the next part of this quiz. Everybody, this is gonna. We're just gonna. I'm just gonna start with some easy ones and move into more difficult ones. Where is the 50% of the last move? Guys,
I mean, is this the last move?
this is exactly what I'm talking about when I said I'm going to start out with a really, really easy one. Everybody should have got this one 100% correct. When I draw, let me make it a little easier here. When I draw a straight line, and that's not straight, where's 50% of that line? Good job, Robin. Good job. No, MK, it's not here. All right. If you answered this is the 50% area, you win. Now, with that knowledge that we just did that, where is 50% of the last move? I didn't say where are all the 50%. I said of the last move.
It's a 15-minute chart, right? 15 minutes.
Yes, this is 15-minute
Yeah,
chart.
okay. So this was a range. This is the last move, and this is a 50%. That's it. Okay, the first answer.
All right. You see why why me as the instructor, I'm banging my head up against the wall. And now it's funny.
I mean, you need to no, because you say the last move. You need to define last move. Is last
The
move,
last move.
it,
I
but,
don't know how is to say
no,
it.
okay. So the last move is the move after a ranging consolidation. The ranging
No.
consolidation was here.
The last move is the last price cycle.
Oh, that's
The
price
last
cycle.
move. The market, the last move. The market just moved up
Okay,
or
so
down. What's the
we will
last
say-
move? The last move, whoever said this is 50% is correct. This is 50% of the last move. The market moved up, went sideways, it moved up. That's the last move. And it came back to the 50. That is the last move. I don't know how else to say it other than it's comical. So I don't know how you can look at market structure differently if I say the last move, right? That's it. That's all we look for. 50% of the last move. What's the last move, right? So if market structure was here and this is the move, we know the market was coming back down to here. If this was the last move, then I would say 50% is here. If that was here, 50% of the last move. I honestly don't know how to say it any other way. If you don't read it that way, you're making it too complicated. You're making it way too complicated. And trading is supposed to be easy. And so stop adding complexity to how easy trading is. Now, you could say it's gotten to the 50 of this last move up, but now you could say, look, there's a 1-2 price cycle move. It should come to the 50 of the 2 price cycles, which is 1 price cycle back. So whoever said there's a lot of 50s and they're all relevant, you're right. But that's the next level. The first one is recognizing the last move. Then the next one is recognizing the entire move after the breakout, before the breakout, the price cycles. This is the 50 of this move here. This is the 50 of the last move, right? So there are a lot of 50s on the chart, but we don't need to concern ourselves about the 50 here because it already hit it of this move. We don't need to concern ourselves about the 50 of this move because it already hit it. All we really need to concern ourselves is here so we know what's happening over here. That's it. All right. And I did that purposely on the 15-minute chart because market structure is market structure. And I know we look at the 1-minute chart because every time we're together, we generally scalp. But if we're overnight trading, we can look at the hour and say the same thing. Where's the 50% of the last move? Where is it? B-Rad, don't do that unless you're being serious. I don't know if you're trolling me or not. Yeah, this is on the hour. You could say, Logan could say, you know what? This is the 50% of this move, but it is not 50% of the last move, right? But it's got to get to the 50 of this move, and this is the move that's getting us there. Now that it's done that, this becomes the last move. This is the last move. Now that it's hit that, this becomes the last move because it's identified the 50. And particularly on the hour chart, if I was getting in to the hour and this was, overnight, that's only 7 pips. So it's not nothing. It's, nothing inconsequential. I'd probably be getting into buys on a pullback down to here of the 50 because of this stuff. Pullback of the down to the 50. This is where I'd want to enter. If it goes to the 100, I'd want to enter here. If it fells, or just if this was my overnight setup, I'd probably put a pending here and a pending here because this is not very far to run. So if it breaks above the 50, I want to be in. Breaks below here, I want to be in. And that's how I would trade that. I don't know. And it's not what tonight's about. It's like I had to tell myself that because now I want to see, but that's not what I'm talking about tonight. Again, on the minute chart, where's the 50 of the last move? I love it. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. This is the last move here. It's at the 50, but whoever said this one is what the next move or where it should go. It's not the last move. It's the next move, right? And if it fails to go here and it breaks down here, then what? If it fails to break above here and it breaks down here, then what? Again, I'm not talking about the last move, but the next move. Because that's where it's going, but it does what? It makes this line the 50 and not this one, right? This is no longer a valid 50 right here. And that's probably what it's going to do when you have a 0, 1, 2 with an M. Most likely it's going to make this the 50, but that's the next move, not the last move. So the last move was here. It came to the 50. It completed that move. So now as a trader, we're like, well, what's the next move? Well, the next move is either A, you're going to break above here, or B, you're going to fail to move higher and you're going to come down to here and you're going to make this the 50 and you're going to move equal distance down to here. That's the next move. This is what I talk about all the time about reading the right? About looking for the invisible 50s, because this 50 is not a 50 yet. It's the invisible 50. So you have to be able to see the last move before you can see the next move. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to spend a lot of time on the last move, but I guess that's where we're at. I haven't even gotten to my second question yet.
You're working with remedial people.
No, I am not. That's what makes it so funny, because I know that you guys know this, or I have to believe. If I have to believe that you guys know this, because if you guys tell me you don't know this, then I quit. You want to believe. I want to believe that you guys know this. Please. For the love of all that's holy, say you believe me. All right. Feel like I beat this point home enough. But we're going to do one more just for kicks and giggles on the 5-minute chart. Where is the last move on the 50? Not the next move, the last move. All right. For those of you guys who meant to draw here, you would be correct, because this is the move from here to here. Came down to the 50, came back up, and came right back down to it. So the 50 of this move is right here. Unless we break down to here, then this becomes the next 50. Then this is the last move. The 50 is here. If it fails to go up to the 50 and we get a breakdown, then that becomes, this is the 50. And if we break down, it could be coming down to here, which is an equal distance move to the 50 of this last move. This becomes the last move right here. You see that? Because there's no more data to the left. So this becomes the last move. If it breaks below here, then this becomes the last move, and it comes down to here, and you start fibbing this, and this is like, well, the 61 crosses that, it's going to come down to here. The last move is always the last one always the last data point that you can get, that you can see, right? If it breaks above here, then this becomes the last move that it's fibbing, and it's going to try and get up to there. So it's our job to not only recognize what the last move is, but where in a price cycle, at the end of this price cycle, does it coordinate with a 50? If the answer is yes, is it going to come back to the 50, or is it going to make this the 50? Those are your only two options. Either come back or it'll continue and make that the 50. That's it. All right. 36 minutes in, and I'm on question number 2. How many price cycles have already formed? I'm looking for a number, a numerical number. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Logan. A numerical number. How many price cycles have already formed? You got 3 people. Everybody else, I lose everybody else. Let's say 1, 5, Carol, 2, Joseph, 3. There is only one answer. I mean, I guess I'm trying to see. Haled said there was 1. I guess I could get behind that, but I wouldn't if you want to look at it that way, but I wouldn't, because of looking at all of this right here gives me a good indication of price cycles. The answer is 3. I'm going to call this a price cycle 1, this a price cycle 2, this a price cycle 3, and we're forming another one down to here, or back up, question mark. Price and time, 1 price cycle, back up. This is not a price cycle. This is a price and time event that at the end, you'll get a price cycle up or down. So that's how you get 3 price cycles. 1, 2, 3. That's how you get 3 price cycles. 1 down, 1 up, 1 down. That's usually how the market runs. Sometimes you get 1, 2, 1, like you get right here. 1, 2, 1, right? And then they kind of shrink because it came to the 50. 1 up, 1 down. Sideways move. 1 up, 1 down. 1, 2 up, 3. High probability setup. Smack that bad mamma jamma for it to come back to the 50 of the 3 price cycle move, which is right in here or here, but that's not the 50. But I would be looking for definitely here, secure off of that, and win the day down there. And that's why it's the 3 and 50. Exactly. None of this stuff that I'm telling you guys is difficult. You are making it harder than it needs to be. Just keep it simple. Do you see that? All right. I'm going to ask the same question again on a 5-minute chart. How many price cycles have already formed? It is a little bit more difficult. I just laugh because as an instructor, I want you guys to all have the same answers and are confident in it. And it's always, and everybody is giving me the same numbers. The fact that it's all over the place means that I'm not doing a very good job. So that's why I'm laughing. And maybe I should have checked in a long time ago, right? Maybe. I don't know. All right. So it's a little trickier because on the 5-minute, and you're not used to looking at it. So I would say that this is 1, that's 1, that's 1, and that's 1, right? Off of this. And anytime we get a consolidation move, price cycles change on the other side of consolidation. Anytime you get a sideways move, price cycles change, right? So whoever said 4 is the winner on how many price cycles have changed. I get it because when a lot of times when we talk about price cycles, it's how many has it moved against us. And so usually we align our price cycles with, oh, there's a 3 price cycle move because it went 1, 2, 3 against us. But that's not really, we only talk about that when it goes against us. But really in the 3 and 50 method, it's knowing what your price cycles are, because I'm going to ask this is not part of the quiz. I'm just going to ask if anybody knows this, but we used to do this every single day. Price cycles determine our what? Usually will determine our what? Our position size. Thank you. So we measure what our price cycles are, and we're like, okay, if they're big, we stay light. If they're small, we can go normal. And if they're teeny tiny, we might be able to go a little heavier or not trade it at all, right? Those price cycles will determine your sizing, your volume. Exactly. Hey, you guys got that right. But that wasn't even part of the quiz. Bonus points. Get bonus points. All right. Next question. Go back to the 1 minute chart for this one. Is this a reversal, continuation, or consolidation phase? What are we in? Reversal, continuation, or consolidation phase? Steven's the only one. Okay, there we go. We got more people answering. Why is it a consolidation phase? At least we got more people saying that. Let me ask you this. If you get a candle that comes down to here and breaks this, are you still consolidating? So are you in a consolidation phase or are you in a continuation phase? So this one is a little tougher because it could be either one, and you don't know because we don't have confirmation. And it's at a really good place, which is right here, for it to go sideways. And you could say it's either going to round and stay with this, or it's going to continue and come down to here, or it'll consolidate and give us that rounding. So it's either one or the other, right? So it's a little bit difficult to say. I would accept either answer because we're still here. But then I would accept the best answer is I'm looking at price and time, because price and time will tell me if it breaks to the other side of this without breaking this, we're in a consolidation phase and it should move up. If it breaks here, we're in a continuation phase. So if you're just opening up the chart and you have 0 trades on, this is not a good time to pick a direction. It's a good time to wait and see what happens. It's just a good time to wait and see what happens. And this one we will play out. And there you go. Just like that candle said, nope, it is no longer consolidating. It ran back, and we talked about it already. This was the 50. It hit the 50. Instead of making this the 50, I said either it's going to make this the 50 or it'll come here and hit this. How I got that, oh boy. I think a lot of us are saying this is a great time to sell. Smack in on that. That looks like a Brandon candle if I've ever seen one. And you might get another Brandon candle to get up to here, and I'd even smack in even harder. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, if it's like 2 pips, I ain't doing that. That's 2 pips. It's like 2 pips. Forget about it. But if it was a 5 pipper, absolutely smacking in on that, right? It's a Brandon candle. No, I'm just saying from market structure, this is still a Brandon candle. I don't care if it's 2 pips or 10 pips. It's a candle that is 2 to 3 times the size of the previous candles. That's the definition of a Brandon candle. All I'm saying is that if it's 2 pips, there's just not enough meat on the bone for me to jump in. That's all. But that's the definition of a Brandon candle right there. But you see that candle? It said, okay, and if this candle closes below the 50 of this last move, then it's going to be an exhaustion bar and it's going to move down, or it's going to fail that and move up. And now let's go back to, is this a reversal, continuation, or consolidation? Reversal, continuation, or consolidation? It's not consolidation. Well, okay, Logan, I'll give you this. Logan's saying this is the consolidation, and you would be correct in this. And now I'm thinking price and time from this big one right here. But if I'm thinking from this right here, and that's probably a better way to look at it, because these are 2 pips. This range right here is 5 to 6, so I'm playing this range. So I digress. Logan, you are correct. This is your consolidation right here. But inside of consolidation, you can also have a price and time. And so with that, this is your consolidation. So you also have your 0, 1. And this is hard because I just call this whole thing a 1. Break, failed to get to 2. So now it's getting to 2 right there. And so that's what I would do. And then I'd also have 50% of the consolidation range, which correlates with 50% of this move of the last move right here.